When the College Board set out to remake the SAT into the new version, one of the reasons they did that was due to the criticism the SAT has received over the years as a test that is preppable, right? That you could focus on narrow test prep strategies in order to increase your score without really learning anything or without improving the skills that you'll actually need for college and beyond. And one of the places, especially that they focused, was on the essay, because the old SAT essay, frankly, was kind of a joke. You could make up stuff, you could use a template and often do pretty well. So they set out to make a better essay, and to kind of explain what they did, let's go ahead and read this quote. Moreover, because the essay task is centered on a unique source text disclosed only on test day, students must engage with the passage rather than rely on canned, generic responses generated ahead of time. In these ways, the test encourages meaningful practice aligned with curriculum and instruction rather than narrow prep focused on mastery of an artificial test format. So this is from the College Board directly about what their goals were, what they're trying to do with the new SAT essay. So on the one hand, they succeeded. It is a more robust essay than the previous one for the old SAT, and partially they did that by making it basically twice as long, right? You've got 50 minutes instead of 25 minutes. But we can really ask, is this not preppable, right? Did they succeed in making something that you can't prepare for and focus on because it's some sort of natural, less artificial test? Well, I have a few questions then. What is natural about writing under extreme time pressure? Right? When will you ever have 50 minutes to write something in real life? Very rarely. What is natural about writing without the chance to revise? Most good writers will tell you that good writing happens through revision, not in the first draft. What is natural about writing without the chance to do additional research? Now, you're going to have a source text that you can look at, but typically when you write in real life, you can look at all different kinds of sources and get some backup information, check citations, etc. What is natural about writing on something or about something that you probably don't care about, right? So you're probably not going to care much about what you're writing here. In real life, good writing comes from passion, comes from interest and curiosity. What's natural about writing without feedback and collaboration? If you open any good book, you go to the back or sometimes the front, you'll see an acknowledgement section where the author lists the dozens or hundreds of people that helped him or her write the book. Read drafts, gave feedback, edited, helped out with ideas. Whatever the case may be, when will you have to write without, in this kind of cloistered, isolated situation? Very rarely in real life. And then finally, what's natural about writing by hand? Most of the time we write with computers, not by hand. So sure, the new essay test is better, but it's still artificial. And I ripped off a little bit of George Orwell here to make my own little quote here. All tests are artificial, but some tests are more artificial than others. So sure, the new SAT essay is perhaps less artificial in some ways than the old SAT essay. And maybe it's better than the ACT essay, whatever. I don't want to get involved in that conversation. But the point is, it's still artificial. Every test is artificial, and therefore it can be prepped for. You can focus your preparation in ways to maximize your score. It's not just based on underlying skills, though certainly that's part of it. And to prove this, I went through the 28 practice essays the College Board has released. These essays were written by students and then graded by the College Board. And I put graphed them on this little graph here, with the x-axis being the number of words they wrote in the essay, and the y-axis representing the combined score. Now, as I'll talk about in the scoring section, you don't actually combine the three scores into one score. I just did it here to make it simple for the graph. But you'll see very clearly there's a very tight relationship between the words written and the combined score. As the words written go up, the score goes up pretty regularly. So this is artificial. There's nothing about the number of words that should matter in terms of a score, and yet it does. So one of the first tips I can give you is, when you're writing your essay, try to fill at least 3 pages, because that will get you into this region, which means you are in the upper echelon of the scoring range, which is what I assume most of you want. So that's how we're going to approach this test. We're going to see, what does the College Board actually reward and improve through our prep and focus on those areas. So, despite the best efforts of the College Board, the new SAT essay is still an artificial test format, and therefore it can be exploited. And that's exactly what we're going to learn how to do in this series. We're going to learn how to master the SAT essay and essentially give the College Board exactly what they want for a 444 score. Not what they tell us they want or what the rubric says they want, but when we look at actual tests, actual essays that have been written, and we look at the grades they get, what conclusions can we draw? And that's how I've got my conclusions about how you do well on the SAT essay. It's not based on any kind of theory about what good writing is or what I like or anything like that. It's based on what did the College Board reward or punish on actually graded essays written by actual students. So the topics we're going to cover include things like essay basics, the prompt, how the essay is scored, some do's and don'ts, how to achieve these three scores, so a 4 in each of these score categories. We'll be spending a lot of time on the analysis portion because I think that's the area that many students are going to struggle with the most. We'll go through a course strategy and, yes, even what we might call an essay template for getting that 444 score and much more. For example, one of the other things we'll look at is I'm going to go through a sample essay. I'm going to write an essay following the strategy, and then we'll go through it paragraph by paragraph so you can see how I use the strategies we talked about in these videos on an actual essay to get, hopefully, a 444. So the good news is that this series is available completely free. So the first 9 videos will be available on YouTube, including this video. If you want to watch the rest of the series, though, you'll have to sign up on my website. And if you want access to the cheat sheets, so I've made a number of downloadables and useful cheat sheets for use for your preparation for the SAT essay. To get access to the entire series and those cheat sheets, you got to sign up for my website, and there's a link in the description. And you're going to find the cheat sheets if you go to my website and sign up for the course. The first lecture will be called Resources Start Here. Click on that and you'll get access to all the downloads. To get this course free, what you should do is just click the link in the description, hit the Enroll in Course Free button, and then create a free account if you don't have one with me already, and then start watching the videos. And one of the other things you can do is you can leave comments and questions in the actual lectures themselves, and I will respond directly. So let's move on then to the next video.